Okay, tips on how to survive in today's economy. Yes, I know saying survive is crazy, but like we need to, like, at this point with everything going on right now, rent control, the job recession, inflation, that is crazy too. After COVID, quiet quitting, all that stuff keeps going on, keeps being more and more, and at this point, we're not getting paid enough just to live, so yeah, it is survival mode now. That is crazy, but it is survival mode now, and I'm ranting, so I am in my car instead of at my desk because if I'm at my apartment and people hear me yelling, then there might be a noise complaint. So I'm gonna be yelling and bitching about this in the car. And I'm hoping that these tips can help you, so that way surf the internet for so long on how to find these tips, and I hope these help you. I might do a series on these if you guys want. Comment below what tips like helped you and which ones didn't, but I feel like these would help you. I went to like Walmart the other day and my eggs were like $7. $7 for like 18 eggs is crazy, because you're trying to eat healthy, but like when you can't even afford to barely eat, that's the first part that's bad. So I'm gonna divide this video into like 3 sections. We got the rent control area, we have job recession, and then we have like inflation, how to deal with all those. So the first one we're gonna go into is like rent control. First off, if you're still in your parents' house, a really good tip is to create an emergency fund if you're able to, you know, cut back on your spending you don't need. Happiness and stuff is very important, so make sure to have like a little bit of money for wants and gifts and stuff, but you don't need to splurge beyond your means. Easier said than done, but they usually recommend that an emergency fund is like 4 to 6 months of your expected bills that you expect to pay, just in case something happens, like you lose a job. You never know, that could happen any day now, you know, that's happening to everything right now. So first off is suggestions that I have is like get to know your coworkers and get to know the people around you and just get to know what's out there, especially if you're in a bigger city or you just moved and you don't know what's out there yet. I got my apartment and I only pay like $300 right now for my apartment, but it is really good. And it's a 1-bedroom and it's in a safe area, so I don't have to worry about it being broken into. But I found that through getting to know people and seeing where it's at. And no, it's not in a low-income area. It's not in any of those. And I've been paying this price for like a couple months now. They might be increasing it, but $300 is still not bad for a 1-bedroom. So I definitely ain't complaining about that. First tip is have an emergency fund. Second is create a budget. Usually they recommend spending about 30% of your income if you can on housing. Not all of us are that lucky, but I spend a little bit less than that, about what I make from my 9 to 5 right now. But that's usually what they recommend, is try to keep your budget around like 30 to 40% of your monthly rent, just to be able to pay for that. And know what you want and what you need in a place. So first off is realize, you know, it is cheaper to get a roommate, but if you absolutely for not reason can not handle a roommate, then you might have to cut back in other areas of your life. You know, you might have to go into a studio or whatever it is, move in with a friend, stuff like that. And third thing is, it is okay to look into low income and Section 8 housing. If, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do to survive, and that is absolutely okay. Resources are out there for a reason to help us, and if you need access to those resources, I will provide a link below. And make sure to just, whatever state you're in, if you're in the United States, Canada, Mexico, you just go to your government website and there should be resources there below, so that's where you can find all that info. And then the last one is how I found mine was, so you can network through mouth, but you can also network on apps like Facebook Marketplace, Instagram Marketplace, Craigslist, Zillow. You know, you can just like network around and see what's out there, because sometimes they don't post those. My group has, like, my Facebook for my small town has a for rent group in my town, and that's a really good way to find different things, is in that group. So that's all the tips I have for that first section. Now we're gonna go on to the second section, which involves like ways to cut back on money and how to like increase money and all that stuff. Last one's gonna be the job one, but the middle section, and you can skip to each chapter, whichever one prevails to you, but the middle one we're gonna do is money tips, because I'm still not over the fact that I went to Walmart and spent $18 on eggs that so many people put into me that you need to eat healthy, but when you can't afford to eat healthy, then that's crazy. So the first thing we have is you need to see if you can cut down on how much you spend for your current bills. So for example, I used to be paying like $60 a month for Straight Talk and it didn't work very well, but I switched to Visible after a while and it was only $40 and it was a lot better, saved the price, and it was unlimited texting. And and I had service anywhere in town I went. You know, it didn't die when I went to Walmart. So first thing is, like phone plans. Just go around Google, see what's compatible with your current phone, and see if there's any cheaper phone plans you can do. You can also do this with your internet. You can do this with car insurance. You know, my car insurance right now is really expensive, so you can probably go and just call all your local car insurances and see, hey, how much are you paying for this, and this? And then you can know if it's good, then you can calm it down. Second is something that I've been using, and I think it is beautiful, and I highly recommend it, is, you know, sometimes we don't always plan on knowing when certain bills are paid, like subscriptions. You know, you don't know what day, the exact day of the month you pay Netflix on. You just don't know. And then sometimes it hits and then you get that $35 overdraft fee. So what I highly recommend doing, or if you're very impulsive with your money and you spend more than you should, these two banks are really good options for ways to build credit on purchases that you're already buying. So those two that I use, the one that I use mainly, and then there's Chime and Zerp. And what those two are banks that you can use as a debit card. So any money that you put in there is your budget for the month. So you don't go into debt like you pay a pre-secured thing for a different app. Like for most cards, you put $300 down and that's your budget, but you have to go into debt for that, and if you don't pay it, then it shoots your credit card. Versus Zerp and Chime are two that whatever money you put in is the money that is your budget. So if you put in $500 per month, and you can set up your direct deposit. I have my direct deposit from my 9 to 5 put into Zerp, and you also earn a 5% APR with Zerp. Plus, you can also get credit card points that you can redeem from it, but it also, once again, you don't go into credit and there's no overdraft fees. And with Chime, you can go up to like $250 overdraft for those expenses that you don't know. And you can also have a credit card builder on Chime. So those two I highly recommend getting to know, ways to help you in the future when you decide to buy a car or buy a house. Using those are a really good way to help you. 3 in this section is take advantage of the free resources around you. You know, every time you hang out with friends, you don't always have to spend money to do it. There's free resources like the library. If you like reading books, you can even play games at the library. They had a VR setup, for example, there. There's also a lot of free concerts in my town, and the town that I live in is only like 6,000 people, so there is events around you. There's also events probably like an area, you know, like 20 minutes or so out of your town if you're in a really, really small town. But just take advantage of those areas. Also use like coupon apps, and there's parks and the skate parks and, you know, community neighbor pools, and just take advantage of those before you go spend $50 to go to the movie theaters one night. Next one is kind of ways to keep your grocery bills down, is take advantage of what's around you. And I mean, take advantage of what's around you, okay? First, we have like the dollar store or like a Family Dollar, whatever it is. You don't always have to go to you could pay a third of the price for half the stuff you get. And make sure to take advantage of like the deals going on, because one of my friends told me that they had an 18-pack of eggs for $1.25 at Safeway, and that same one was like $7 at Walmart. So take advantage of those little things that you see coupons in your daily newspaper. Just keep advantage of those. You can get like cheaper pasta, cheaper meats, cheaper stuff at the dollar, and that is absolutely okay, and no shame in paying less for what you get. Be resourceful with what you've got, and that is okay. Farmers markets are also really good to get fresh veggies and fresh fruits, because fresh veggies and fresh fruits are very expensive at Walmart, and half the time they go bad within a week. But at farmers markets, they're fresh. And I know especially if you're watching this video right now, there's a lot of plants that are going ripe right now. So there's a lot of plants that are, you know, good time. And then also, if you're buying new furniture or new pieces or clothing and stuff, Salvation Army is really good. And Facebook Marketplace, don't downturn that, okay? Depop, don't down those two places. Like, I got a free couch from Facebook Marketplace, okay? Like, a free couch, not having to pay, it reclines, it works. I've had this thing for like 3 years, so take advantage of that. Like, people most of the time, garage sales, just take advantage of those resources around you. The last thing is with, like, limit your subscriptions. So you can use, like, Rocket One will tell you all the subscriptions you use. Usually you can also do this thing called, like, subscription recycling. So for things like Disney Plus, Netflix, Hulu, the CW, HBO, all those ones now, sorry, not for CW, but all those ones, you can, like, have one or two that you have, and then after you watch all those new shows, cancel those and then go to the other ones. And that's a good way to, because you don't have time to watch all those that you think you will. Another thing too is these are good alternatives that I used. I realized that I never even watch Netflix that much. Like, when I want to watch something, I just watch a movie or certain TV shows, and usually those are the ones that came out like 1 or 2 years ago. And these are good free resources that you can use for those. Tubi is a free movie app. Same with, like, YouTube. YouTube's a free resources, and there's free movies on there with ads, and the ads are not even that bad. And the CW is also a free TV show app, and it has some pretty good modern ones that are actually coming out week to week now on that app. And then there's this new one called Freevr, which is like Amazon free, so that one's a really good version for that. And also, if you're looking for a free music app, you can get Spotify Premium for free with your Zerp bank account. I will have the link in the bio for that, but if you're looking for free music app that you pay, don't do any downloads with that, I highly recommend checking that out. It's like one of my links in my bio. And the last one is, we all need healthcare, we all need mental health, like, you know, have scares and stuff all the time, and just keep in mind, look in your local app store and around you just for cheaper alternatives. I use LiftTalk, and it is a great, cheaper therapy app. BetterHelp is also a really good alternative. Alright, last but not least, we are in the third section of this video of how to survive in this economy. Okay, so third one is how to deal with, like, the job recession now. Most of us can't even afford to live off of our one income right now, especially if you make a little bit above minimum wage. Most of us just can't even. We usually have one bill that we're not paying every month, and we should not have to decide which bill to not pay every month. That's not how we should live. So the first thing I recommend is, but whether you are getting laid off, I highly recommend that if you're looking for a job right now, make sure to network with the people around you. Just talk with your friends and see what's going on. Talk with your family members and go on, once again, Facebook is a great place. Social media is a tool, okay? You can use it for good and for bad. But for this video, we're gonna talk about using it for good. There's a group where I'm from, whatever town you're in, you can probably just search up this town, whether it's, I don't know, such as like Denver. I'm very far from Denver, but like Denver job opportunities. And I have one in my town, which is not Denver. But it will say all the job opportunities there. You might not even be aware of. Your local newspaper can have all those job opportunities. LinkedIn, Indeed, Snag a Job, we've all seen those. Make sure after you apply to those, send a personalized message to the recruiter, and make sure you can use ChatGPT to create good cover letters, and you can also use Canva to create free, professional-looking job resumes. So keep those in mind as well, those tools. Thing that I used, which I did not know was a thing, but most towns have a temp agency, and what I like about a temp agency is it provides me that job security where if I'm not happy with the current job I have, or if all the employees at my current job get laid off, I have a guaranteed job at another place. As long as you don't rage and burn people with fire, then you can have another secure job at a different place. So I like that. It gives me that security of mind. I had a job before I was part of this temp agency where I've rage quit and I couldn't find anything around me, I was applying to all the base level jobs, and I was applying to like Walmart and Safeway and places like that, and no one was hiring. No one is still not hiring, but with the temp agency, they know who's hiring and they will find you a place. Second thing is, it is absolutely okay to like look into side hustles, whether it's you want to leave your job or you just need extra income for Christmas, birthdays, summer, whatever's going on. You're trying to save up for a new car, save up to move out. So, and side hustles don't have to be extreme. We've all heard of door dashing. Those are great. Dog walking's good, but I'm not going to talk about those because you already know about those. And yeah, you can skip that part. Anyway, you can also do things like car detailing, babysitting, cleaning people's houses on the free time, things that you do already that you might not even think could be a side hustle. You can just post a gig on the Facebook for sale site or eBay. Things like that are really good, and just say, hey, I will detail your car for $300, or just post things like that. There's good apps, ShiftSmart, you can drop ship, all those. I will do a whole nother video with side hustles, but this is the first video, is how to survive in the current economy. Those were all the tips I had for this video. If you have any tips below, make sure to comment any of those tips and let me know if you liked these, and comment down below any more ideas.